Welcome to today's special. Today, I'll be talking about Bill Gates and the plans he has for the future. While you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and make sure you turn on that little notification bell. When you hear the name Bill Gates, what's the first thing that jumps into your mind? Money? Microsoft? His interesting hair choice? Whichever it is, you're right. William Henry Gates III, popularly known as Bill Gates, born October 28, 1955, is an American business magnate, software developer, investor, and philanthropist. He is best known as the co-founder of the Microsoft Corporation. Over the last 4 decades, Bill Gates has been a strong force in the development of the modern computer. Just like his predecessor, Charles Babbage, Bill has revolutionized computers with the invention of the Microsoft, a software that makes it easier to assess and operate your computer. During his career at Microsoft, Gates held the position of chairman, CEO, president, and chief software architect, while also being the largest individual shareholder until May 2014. He is one of the best-known entrepreneurs and pioneers of the microcomputer revolution of the 1970s and 1980s. Since 1987, Bill has been included in the Forbes list of the world's wealthiest documented individuals. From 1995 to 2017, he held the Forbes title of the richest person in the world, all but 4 of those years. In October 2017, he was surpassed by Amazon founder and CEO Jeff Bezos, who had an estimated net worth of $90.6 billion US dollars, compared to Gates' net worth of $89.9 billion at the time. As of November 9, 2019, Gates had an estimated net worth of $107.1 billion, making him the second wealthiest person in the world behind Bezos. Later in his career, and since leaving day-to-day operations at Microsoft in 2008, Gates pursued a number of philanthropic endeavors. He donated large amounts of money to various charitable organizations and scientific research programs through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, reported to be the world's largest private charity. In 2009, Gates and Warren Buffett founded the Giving Pledge, whereby they and other billionaires pledged to give at least half of their wealth to philanthropy. The foundation works to save lives and improve global health, and is working with Rotary International to eliminate polio. As a philanthropist, he never shied away from airing his views on topical issues, such as climate change, which is drastically affecting the world as we know it. In an interview that was published in the March 27, 2014 issue of Rolling Stone magazine, Gates provided his perspective on climate change, his charitable activities, various tech companies and people involved in them, and the state of America. In response to a question about his greatest fear when he looks 50 years into the future, Gates stated, "There'll be some really bad things that'll happen in the next 50 or 100 years, but hopefully none of them on the scale of, say, 1 million people that you didn't expect to die from a pandemic, or nuclear or bioterrorism." Gates also identified innovation as the real driver of progress, and pronounced that America is way better today than it's ever been. Gates has expressed concern about the potential harms of superintelligence. In a Reddit Ask Me Anything, he stated that, "First, the machines will do a lot of jobs for us, and not be super intelligent. That should be positive if we manage it well. A few decades after that, though, the intelligence will be strong enough to be a concern." I agree with Elon Musk and some others on this, and don't understand why some people are not concerned. Fascinating, right? There is a saying that rich people worry less than the poor, but I guess Bill proves it wrong. Just like Elon Musk, his younger counterpart, Bill has his mind set on saving the world. Not in a superhero cape type, but in a scientific and technological way. Okay, I know what you're thinking. 1995 Bill was totally presented as a hero in a cape, but that was excessive, don't you think? The Empire State Building was bathed in Microsoft corporate colors, and playing fields in Britain were painted with the Windows 95 logo to make it visible from the air. The Redmond, Washington campus of Microsoft was transformed into a carnival for the day, with food, jugglers, clowns, hot air balloons, a Ferris wheel, and circus tents. And at the center of it all was Bill, grinning awkwardly in his blue Microsoft polo shirt and trying to sound casual as he engaged in teleprompter banter with The Tonight Show's Jay Leno. Gates was notorious for making pie-in-the-sky predictions for Microsoft products, so it probably shouldn't have surprised him to receive a pie in the eye when he visited Brussels in February of 1998. Gates got creamed as he entered the Concert Noble Hall for an education conference, sponsored by the Flemish government. Belgian anarchist Noël, the Pie Man, Godin, took credit for the aerial pastry. Just one in a series of tart-fueled attacks Godin has inflicted on notable people. Gates reportedly said later that the pie wasn't that tasty. Bill has reportedly taken his philanthropism to another level in the areas of creating vaccines for major epidemics and pandemics. A TED Talk by Gates from 2015 recently emerged called The Next Outbreak. We're Not Ready, given during the Ebola epidemic. Following the eventual end of the pandemic, Gates hopes that countries can work together to better prepare for similar situations, including the need to have the ability to scale up diagnostics, drugs, and vaccines very rapidly. The technologies exist to do this, well, if the right investments are made. The $100 million he and his wife Melinda Gates Foundation donated to fight the coronavirus is focused on those three areas. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, stated that mass production of a vaccine would likely not occur for another 12 to 18 months. And Gates concurred, saying that lots of manufacturing will need to be built to provide billions of vaccines to protect the world, and that the first vaccines, which would go to healthcare workers and critical workers, could happen before 18 months, if everything goes well. But him and Fauci and others are being careful not to promise this when they are not completely sure. A study released in 2020 by Imperial College in the UK stated that even with mitigation, the US could see around 1 million deaths from the coronavirus. But Gates cautioned that the parameters used in that model were too negative, pointing to China as the most critical data that they have, and that social distancing approach was able to reduce the number of cases. Responding to a question on the Netherlands' controlled distribution strategy, Gates countered, saying that the only model that is known to work in a serious social distancing effort, or a shutdown, estimated that a country could do a good job with testing. Then, within 6 to 10 weeks, they should see very few cases and be able to open back up. However, he also admitted that the US is still not organized on the testing. Gates called for a national tracking system, similar to South Korea, saying that in Seattle, the University of Washington is providing thousands of tests per day, but no one is connected to a national tracking system, and that whenever there's a positive test, it should be seen to understand where the disease is and whether we need to strengthen the social distancing. With social distancing and many of his other answers, though, he addressed the difficult schism between wealthy and developing nations, saying that rich countries that push for testing and practice social distancing should avoid high levels of infection within 2 to 3 months, though. I worry about the economic damage. Even worse will be how this will affect the developing countries who cannot do the social distancing the same way as rich countries, and whose hospital capacity is much lower, Bill said. As you can see, Bill sees a better world, and his optimism is leading him towards new discoveries. Well, that's all on today's edition. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and make sure you turn on your notifications. Until next time, take care.
To change your